Hey, how are you? Good. My name is Michael Fanone. I'm a former D.C. police officer. I fought here on January 6th to defend the Capitol, and I'm here to deliver a letter on behalf of Courage for America. I was wondering if the screen was around. I have a few minutes.
Unfortunately, she is not, but I would be more than happy to take that for you and get it to her if you'd like.
Okay.
This letter of retribution and much more is coming for MAGA extremists like Marjorie Taylor Greene. This video was taken recently, actually a day before the second anniversary of the January 6th riots, which, lest we forget, saw Republican governing officials endorse a violent and ultimately illegitimate upheaval of our nation's governing bodies in the midst of President Joe Biden's congressional vote after a successful presidential bid in 2020. And despite the second anniversary and what I like to call chickens coming home to roost, Marjorie Taylor Greene and other MAGA extremists continue to bring their reign of terror and introduce chaos onto the congressional floor. I'm talking about recent complications in Congress to elect a House Majority Leader, with expected frontrunner Kevin McCarthy's voting majority being cut short by his MAGA Republican peers in an attempt to humiliate the representative and push the Republican caucus towards more extremist sensibilities. Ultimately, this has led to chaos on the House floor as we move into what is now like the 13th round of voting with no end in sight, and with Republican extremists like Matt Gaetz voting like this.
My friends, when Donald Trump was president, taxes were cut, regulations were slashed, energy was abundant, wages were rising, capital was returning from overseas to fund the dreams and ambitions of our fellow Americans, and the economy was roaring. What a contrast to what we have seen from this administration now.
This is a ridiculous move on Matt Gaetz' part and other MAGA extremists who are simply making a mockery of what is supposed to be a mundane congressional proceeding. And despite the country's somber remembrance of what is ultimately a nationally embarrassing moment for American democracy, and despite the consequences rearing their ugly heads towards those Republican officials responsible for such a disastrous and laughable coup, extremists like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene are making it their mission to hinder democracy at all stops. MAGA Republicans have clearly not learned anything in the last 2 years since their intended coup, and in fact have leaned into what provokes their base and promotes the chaos that leans into their derogatory politics. This is because manufactured disruption and dysfunction are well-used tools by Republicans, able to hystericalize what is supposed to be about governance and legislation, and is instead about a self-aggrandizing melodrama. And it's not like Republican supporters are wavering in their blind faith, with some even collecting together among the detention centers holding those who are charged or convicted of crimes propagated during the January 6 riots. And frankly, these Republican supporters need a stark reminder of the congressional candidates that they're supporting that are propagating this disruption. Sycophantic megalomaniacs who have no place in congressional proceedings. And when they do find that place,
the Honorable Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received one.
They lose. Badly. This is Adrian Costa, The Breakdown. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check back for more videos. See you guys soon into 2023.